Here we are on June 7th, 2020, the last Sunday of our school year, my last Sunday communication with you, and it's Trinity Sunday. Who would have thought all those weeks ago that we would have made it to this? I know for me it was a day-to-day struggle to get to a point of we're going to make it, and here we are 4 days before the end of the school year. It will be 56 days of remote learning by the time we get to Thursday, which is almost a third of the year, a huge chunk of the year. On Friday we bade farewell to our oldest students, the 8th grade, and when I thought of them on Friday and prayed for them on Friday, I remembered how much they had given up. The last marking period for the 8th graders is always a period of wonderful privileges and also great trips, but they also had to give up their graduation ceremony. So we're hoping that we will bring them back someday in the fall when we can get back together again to have a real final day where they can meet their teachers, interact with each other, and have a party. We're hoping that God will provide us with a vaccine, with a way to get back in the building by September. I really want that to happen. But before I give you details of what we're planning to do or what's going on or what the end of the year looks like, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. We could not have made it through these 11 weeks, which will eventually be 12 weeks, without your help, your support, your love, your constant encouragement. I know that it was a struggle from beginning to end for some of you, especially those of you that had both mom and dad working, and those of you that had little ones at home, but you did it. I'm hoping that your children learned lessons beyond the books. I'm hoping that they're more resilient, that they're strong, that they value the day-to-day things. I know for me, I gained a new sense of nature. I live on wonderful grounds, but hadn't noticed a lot until these last 11 weeks of how beautiful the whole surroundings around our area is, and how wonderful it was to see the animals come out to play as if they own the world. But thank you, thank you, thank you. I decided to do a video today rather than a letter, because sometimes sentiments can't be conveyed in the written word. I thank our teachers who had to become students themselves, who spent many hours preparing, planning, presenting, and providing your children with lessons that hopefully you feel got them what they would have gotten if they were at school. And so please continue to work with us this week. Please continue to know that even though we put an end to this chapter of our lives, of our school year, that we're not going to end with a period. Maybe we should end with an exclamation point, but I think we're probably ending with a comma, because most of you are wondering, so what now? What are we going to do for September? There is a lot of guidance out there for us, a lot of guidelines, and a lot of support. So we will have collaborations with many different organizations, but the Center for Disease Control has put out a document about the reopening of schools that includes 3 phases. Phase 1 is the phase that we're in now, and that's remote. Phase 2 has many different options of a hybrid of remote and in-person, and because we're a big school, we'll probably have to limit the amount of children in classes. So we could contemplate morning sessions, afternoon sessions. We could contemplate the A's coming in one day, the B's the next day, the A's the next day, the B's the next day, and so on. And then how do we interject specials in a way that you don't feel that they're put upon you, because the specials are a very important part of our curriculum. They're what make us the school that we are. So we'll look at the Center for Disease Control. We'll also look at the American Pediatric Association and get guidance from them. We look at the World Health Organization. We'll pay particular attention to the executive orders from the governor, and we'll also pay attention to what the local public schools are doing, so that we can find a way to choose something, to work on something that benefits us as St. Vincent Martyr School, and we'll do it site-based, what works for us. It's important that you know that. We'll do what works for us. You might hear of great plans in other schools, but we might not have the capabilities to implement them, but we'll do our best. We'll also collaborate with principals of schools in the diocese that have similar student body size as we do. So we're a big school, so it's important that we pay attention to being able to provide for every single child. We also have a strategic planning template that we'll work from, which gives us great ideas in looking back on what we did, what worked. I think we were very good. How do we go from very good to great? So we'll look back, we'll have the teachers do surveys, we'll have them collaborate with each other, we'll have them train each other so that we can come up with an initiative, a program, a way of doing things that suits our children from pre-K3 through 8th grade. It's important that we'll focus on every single grade level group in our school, and I'm hoping that the teachers will also collaborate with other teachers in schools to find out what they were doing. So please know that we will do our very, very best, and as soon as we have information, personally I think it's too early yet, but we have countries that have schools reopening just recently, so we'll take a look at what they're doing, and hopefully by the time that we finalize a plan, it will be a plan that will work, and let's pray it'll be a plan that will bring us back into the school building. So I thank our teachers most sincerely. I could not imagine working with a better group of educators who really, really loved your children so much that they didn't mind putting in the extra hours and days. There were no weekends in our teachers' lives. I thank Ms. Gisaldi most sincerely for keeping us on track, for helping us take a look at the whole picture, for developing schedules, for developing calendars, and certainly for advising me many times when I felt like that, what are we going to do here? She was always there ready to give advice. So I thank our whole faculty and staff. Part of our planning also includes getting the building ready. We are very blessed to have Mr. Tom and Mr. Randall in our building, who've been there every day cleaning, and there are specific guidelines when it comes to sanitizing the building, so we will buy every supply that will help us to keep our school as clean as possible to safeguard your children from contracting any kind of disease. And of course then we have the issue of masks. I cannot imagine any of our children at any grade level wearing the masks all day across their faces. As early as this week, I'm getting samples of those transparent ones with the headband thing across the forehead, and the hope and plan would be to maybe condition the kids to the point where they don't even feel like they have them on, because I want to see their beautiful faces. I want to see their expressions, even if they're angry expressions, but mostly our children are very, very happy when they're in the school building. So hopefully what we see this week will help us, and let's keep in touch with that. So then just want to thank every organization that we have in our school that makes our school the great school that it is, even when we're virtual. Mary Ann Klein and Nicole Van Slyke, I cannot thank you enough for being great co-presidents of the Home School Association. You had a wonderful, wonderful year, provided us with lots of experiences, many which are traditional to St. Vincent Martyr, and collaborating with Nina Legis and Mary Beth Flanagan for providing us a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful fundraiser, way beyond expectations, helping us meet our goal of $150,000, which helps us with our operating budget and providing experiences and opportunities for the children that we otherwise would not have. So the Home School Association, every single member of the executive board, I thank you most sincerely. I also thank the Education Council, President Nina Legis, Vice President Libby Sims, for being really a great board for us. We have a technology committee that really has been of great help during this whole experience. We have a finance committee. We have a development committee that got us a grant from Hayden Watson for $10,000 that will certainly be put to good use as we plan moving forward. We have a marketing committee, Finance Committee, which has been excellent. I cannot tell you how difficult it has been for me with budget and wondering where money was going to come from, but you've stayed with us. I thank you for continuing to pay tuition. I hope you felt that it was great value. I feel that you did it to support us and to help us make it through this very, very stressful time in our history. And I would be lying to you if I told you that I found this easy. It was not easy. It was not easy for anybody. I cannot imagine doing this and having children around me, so I can't imagine how most of you were able to fulfill your job obligations. I'm sure most of you did work way beyond when your children were asleep. So please know that you have my unending prayers and my unending love, and I just thank you for continuing day by day, because that's how we did this. We were able to make it through this day by day. And I think without Father George's presence with us, without his spiritual energy, without his spiritual uplifting, I don't think we would have made it through. Even as late as this morning, his homily for this Trinity Sunday was to remember that God works with us as God the Father works for us as God the Son, works in us as God the Holy Spirit. And when we have a Trinitarian perspective, we will make it through. It has been a struggle from the beginning until now, and I just admire how some of our teachers suffered great losses. We had some teachers suffer the loss of parents, aunts, cousins, mother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, brothers-in-laws, friends, and they did not miss a day. We could not have a better group. Despite their great losses, despite their sadness, despite being hit with something beyond expectations, they kept on going, because they love your children so much, and I love them so much and thank them so much. I could not think of any other group that I could have gone through this whole journey with. And we, the Sisters of Charity, also suffered great losses. We lost 15 of our beloved sisters in a month, and it's hard to process. I don't think any of us have taken the time to grieve or even to figure out what this whole experience is all about. So hopefully when we get a break next week, we'll be able to take the time to reflect on this experience and the meaning of it in our lives. Today, as a community, we actually had a great experience. One of the great occasions of these past 11 weeks has been car parades, and I'm still buoyed and energized by the car parade that you provided for me a couple of weeks ago. But today we had a car parade for one of our sisters who was 107 years old. 107 years old. So we drove to the villa on Park Avenue around a circular driveway. She came out, she was thanking everybody with a loud voice and saying onward to 110. So she wasn't even thinking 108, 109. So let us grab some of that positive energy. Let us grab some of that hope that's going to help us through this week and through the months ahead, that will hopefully bring us back into school, even though this whole virus seems to be cyclical rather than moving us forward. But with prayer, with spiritual strength, we're going to make it through. We certainly have a busy week ahead of us this week in all the experiences that we're going to have to go through as we get ready to end on Thursday. So tomorrow, from 1:30 to 4 o'clock, we will have students or families from the alphabet that begin with the letter A through I come and drop off materials and books and pick up anything that they left behind when they came on, when they left on March 13th. Some students did take everything with them, but we had many students that didn't. So then on Tuesday, we'll have students that begin, whose family name begins with the letter J through P, come and pick up materials and drop off materials, and then the next day it's all the other letters of the alphabet. I am sorry, my head is a little bit fuzzy, but there's going to be that information on the end of the school year calendar that you got. So not only will you be dropping off, but you'll also be picking up. If any of you had any medications that you left behind you, please know that Mrs. Riley has been putting them all together according to your child's name, so they'll be available on the days you come up as well. So either find Mrs. Riley or me or ask a teacher, they'll be around somewhere. Now, if any of these days don't work, I really ask you, because we're a big school, to work very hard to try and come on the day designated for your family. Please let me know and we'll see what we can do. So hopefully it'll go off without a hitch. The plan is to have tables out for each grade level, so if you have children in different grade levels, please drop the books, it'll be mostly books, off at the grade level table of each of your children. Mrs. Riley has been working really hard keeping up with all the information that has come out from all the different agencies through this, and she'll continue to work with us as we come up with a plan that will hopefully have your children back. But we'll only do that if we know that we're going to be 100% sure that they're going to be protected, that they're going to be safe, and that they're going to be happy to be together. So as we go through this week, know that I held you in my heart, held you in my prayers all during this. And your children, I have missed your children so much, to the point of heartbreak. But somewhere in that heartbreak, I think my heart swelled with love for them. We love them. We thank you for sharing them with us. If any of you are leaving, I hope that you'll take the best part of us with you. Know that we'll hold you in prayer. We'll miss you. For those of you that are staying behind, I thank you for staying the course with us. I thank you for everything that you have done for us to help us through this. And I want to end with a very special shout out to Karen Collins. She has digitally united us in a way that I cannot even imagine. Even this week, when we had to change our plans and change our plans again for 8th grade graduation, she was there ready to provide them with the digital support that gave them a ceremony that I think they'll be able to hold forever. So Karen, we thank you for putting out all of the information, for putting up with me as plans changed, not just day to day, but hour to hour, and for keeping us literally and virtually posted. So I end with a prayer that God will protect you all summer. May none of your family members be afflicted with this virus. May we all be kept safe, and somehow maybe enjoy a summer. I know many of you had many plans for this summer to travel. I know I had hoped to go home in July to Ireland, but I had to put that on hold. So may God provide us with experiences that will help us feel uplifted, help us feel happy, help us feel joy-filled, and mostly help us feel God-filled. So until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of His hand, and may we always feel united as a St. Vincent Martyr School community. May we be St. Vincent Martyr School strong. God bless you, and thank you for listening to this long-winded message.